Yes, Captain. Tell me everything about him. This will help you. Remember.
One of the best, if not the best, we actually gave it the GRTV Game of the Year back in 2009, was Batman Arkham Asylum. And a lot of us are looking forward to Batman Arkham City, which releases this fall. You saw the game at GDC?
Yes, I actually saw it twice. I saw two demos of it, and it was kind of interesting to see it twice actually, because it was a little bit different the second time around the demo. So I'll go into that a little bit more detail. But first of all, Batman Arkham City. The first game really set the standard for what a comic book hero game can be. We haven't really seen much of it before that, but what it can be, and
Superman 64 was awesome.
Yeah, landfill, awesome landfill. But it really did, and it's interesting to see that Rocksteady aren't resting on their laurels. They're actually trying to push it with the sequel instead of keeping to the same sort of enclosed environments, keeping it inside. They're moving outside.
Yeah, that's one of the absolutely biggest differences when you're just looking at it. Arkham Asylum obviously took place in Arkham Asylum, even though you had a lot of open areas. They weren't that big.
No.
In Arkham City, obviously we're in the city. How does that come into?
Well, I mean,
how much does that actually change for the game?
What it changes is that I think a lot of players when they look at something, they're gonna go like, okay, where do I go next? What do I do next? How do I best get into this situation? I know I need to go somewhere, but how do I do it best? And we got to see the demo. He did crazy things like flying around in a helicopter, hooking up to it and looking around, seeing where guards passed, and trying to assess the situation. And a lot of different things like that, and of course there's plenty of tools and gadgets you can use. But they say that 80% of it's going to be in the open world, the bigger world, and then of course there's going to be settings outside of that as well, locales that you will visit. But
do you think that's a good thing for the game? Because looking at Arkham Asylum, it was a very, very tight game from start to finish with everything, not only of course the locales but also gameplay. Do you think that this is a good thing for what is becoming a series?
Well, what I saw of it is that when you will get into situations that are more enclosed, like you will get into, I think it's the town hall where Two-Face holds Catwoman captive, and you get into a situation where you get to see the situation. You see a lot of cronies of Two-Face inside a room. There's a guy with a machine gun up ahead, on top. That's guarding the room. So you got to take him out first, and then you can spot which guys are more heavily armed down there. So you take those out first, and then you take them out, and finally, you face up with Two-Face, and Catwoman does her thing, and we move on from there. But it looks like you're moving from different kinds of set pieces in the main story, but then there's going to be different ways of how to reach these kind of places and how to play around with the open world and the outside, and it's an interesting concept. I think their aim is to keep that tense atmosphere, that sort of closeness. They don't want to lose that, so hopefully they'll do a good job on that.
Anything else that you saw which felt new from Arkham Asylum?
Well, I mean, there were a lot of new moves. Of course, you could go straight down from a dive into a chokehold and things like that. They've obviously added a lot of different new moves. I felt that they've gone a little bit extra length in creating a sort of a world to live in. How the cronies talk to each other, what you learn from them, what you can hear. A thing like Calendar Man, who's hidden in the cellar of the town hall. He's actually in a prison cell. Everyone else, all the other bad guys are let loose on the city in the super prison, but he's in a cell, and he will tell you of different crimes he committed on certain dates, like St. Patrick's Day or Christmas Eve or whatever. He's gonna have specific mass murders that he committed on those days, and he's going to tell you about that. They really one-up the sort of the whole world feel of it, and they want to immerse you more, I guess, with that, which is nice and lovely, and there's a lot to pull from with the fictions, of course.
One big thing in Arkham Asylum as well, and one thing that they kept secret for a long time, was the inclusion of Scarecrow as a big baddie. And we've seen now the Riddler was kind of a semi-part of Arkham
well, he
Asylum
had
as well.
his riddles. But
Yeah, he had his riddles. You never actually saw him or met him. No. He was just just standing outside, kind of looking in. Now we have the Riddler.
The Riddler, that was the big reveal at GDC. First of all, the riddles will be a little bit different this time. They're more like you will have to try a little bit harder to get them. They're not just going to lay there and you'll have to find them, but sometimes there's like a trap connected to them and things like that. So they're a little bit more, but also the Riddler is going to make an appearance. He's going to have his own sort of side story. He's not connected to the sort of the main story, as far as I understand it, at least. But he's going to communicate with Batman, and he's going to want to be he's going to play a real part in Arkham City, which is exciting news. He's not just leaving his riddle behind, and so that's going to be interesting to see how they work that out, and actually how much freedom you have to explore the side story, or if you're locked into the main story.
Also, Rocksteady has been talking about how far they've come in development. Of course, we still have many months to go until release. How did it look? How finished?
It looks super polished. Of course, it's a demo for journalists, so that's what to be expected. But it really does look like it looked like a done game at the demo. So that's all I can say. There was nothing to derive or anything to say about that. So Batman Arkham City, they've taken their time. They've got enough time to do a really brilliant game, and let's hope they pull it off.
So, you know my name. Good. Because I know everything about you. Your darkest secret. Your ultimate weakness. I know you are Bruce Wayne.